Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakwe Banjo. Zimbabwe's Electoral Commission told reporters on Thursday that the agency would give greater clarity on the timing of the release of the presidential election results at a press conference to be held at around 5 p.m. local time. Kubani Moyo, a ZEC commissioner, said the commission would be in a definitive position regarding the results by that time.
Give a specific time whether I will do it today or tomorrow. But there is significant progress that is happening now in terms of the collation by the Secretariat and the chief election agents of the presidential candidates. When we meet at 5, we will be very, very definitive of the exact time when we should be able to give you results, but it won't be very long. The Commission would like to also state that it condemns in strongest terms the incidences of yesterday. These incidences, which led to loss of human life, are regrettable and they should have been avoided. The Commission would like to send its condolences to the families of the bereaved and for those that were injured, and we wish those that were injured a speedy recovery.
Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa said that violent clashes on the streets of Harare were meant to disrupt this week's presidential election in a televised address on Wednesday, August the 1st. In the address, Mnangagwa said he blamed the leadership of the opposition MDC party for those who were killed and injured and called on the party to remove its violent protesters from the streets.
Incidents of wanton violence and hooliganism which broke out this afternoon in the capital come as a complete surprise. We hold the opposition MDC alliance and its whole leadership responsible for this disturbance of national peace, which was meant to disrupt the electoral process. Equally, we hold the party and its leadership responsible for any loss of life, injury, or damage to property that arise from these acts of political violence which they have aided and abated. The alliance and its leadership has forthwith to remove its violent supporters from the streets so peace returns to our country.
After reports of attacks on demonstrators who are protesting election results in Zimbabwe that left 3 persons dead, the United Nations have called on the country leader to reject any form of violence. UN Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq told reporters in New York that the UN was concerned about reports that there have been incidents of violence in some parts of Zimbabwe. Haq also used the opportunity to remind current office holders and political parties of the commitments they made through the Peace Pledge signed on the 26th of June and the agreed code of conduct for a peaceful electoral process. Earlier reports say at least 3 protesters were killed in the capital, Harare. Thousands of women in South Africa took to the streets of Pretoria on Wednesday to protest against gender-based violence. The protest, dubbed Total Shutdown, is pushing for a change in how the country addresses the issue of violence against women using various methods. Women in the country live in fear of attacks every day and are saying enough is enough. A survey published in 2016 showed that 1 in 5 South African women older than 18 have experienced gender-based violence. Activists say authorities have done little to stop the war against women. South Africa has one of the world's highest rates of violent crime, with women, girls and children being raped and murdered at an alarmingly high rate. The demonstrations were held ahead of the National Women's Day on August the 9th. Nigerian traders at the Suam magazine in Kumasi in the Ashanti region have allegedly been attacked by Ghanaians who vowed to evict foreigners from the market. The leaders of the Nigerian retailers at the Suam magazine say their members are living in fear following what they call incessant attacks on them. They accused local retailers and the Ghanaian Union Traders Association of targeting its members and forcefully evicting them from their shops. Speaking with reporter, an executive member of the Nigerian Retailers Association, Victor Moname, threatened reprisal attacks if the local retailers continue to harass their members. He said the Ashanti Regional Police Commander deployed some of his personnel to the area to forestall such occurrences, but the attacks persist. President Muhammadu Buhari is currently meeting with service chiefs at the State House in Abuja. The meeting comes a day after the president met with governors of the All Progressives Congress. We'll get you more details as the story unfolds. Rochas Okorocha, governor of Imo State, Nigeria, in his solidarity visit to President Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja, has reiterated his confidence that the remaining governors on the platform of the APC will not leave the party. Okorocha, who is the chairman of the APC Governors Forum, said this on Wednesday after governors met with the president. He told State House correspondents that despite the exit of 3 members of the forum, which did not come as a surprise to them, the APC remains stronger and more united. Governor Okorocha noted that the solidarity visit to the president was simply to assure him that 22 members of the forum were still resolute in their stance with the ruling party. The Kaduna State High Court has fixed October 4th to rule on the bail application of the leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. The court picked the date on Thursday following the arraignment of the Shiite leader and his wife, Zinat El-Zakzaky, by the state government. El-Zakzaky and his wife were charged with 8 counts bordering on culpable homicide, unlawful assembly, and disturbance of public peace, amongst all other allegations. The duo were first arraigned on May 15th, but the court adjourned the hearing on the application for their bail till June 21st. But the matter could not be heard as scheduled due to the absence of the judge, and the case was subsequently adjourned till July the 11th for the continuation of hearing on their bail application. Meanwhile, the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, while protesting in Abuja, say there will be consequences if El-Zakzaky dies in government custody. More to follow. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria have accused the federal government of being complicit in the killings around the country. The group took the streets of Abuja calling for the release of their detained leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, saying there will be consequences if he dies in government custody. Plus TV Africa correspondent Amadine Uyi.
Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria and the Nigeria Police Force. The group, which has never been shy to confront security agencies, once again took to the streets of Abuja. This time they are accusing the federal government of being complicit in the violence, which has led to the death of hundreds across the country.
This is the government that is killing its citizens. This is the president that was voted into power, and he says here in Eagle Square that he belongs to everybody and he belongs to nobody. So what do you want to tell me? They have been killing people in Plateau State, killing people in Zamfara State, killing people in Sokoto State. Any state that is against this government will send its people to go and kill innocent people in their villages. Nobody has peace in this country, and this government is totally behind this killing.
The group were calling for the release of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, warns that there will be consequences if he dies in government custody.
We are out today to warn the government that their agenda, they should just stop it. Because there is no way you can kill somebody, kill his children, and such a person has millions of supporters, and you feel there will be peace. For you will be free. It won't happen in this 21st century. They kill us, they buried us alive, they burn people to death, and now they want to kill our leader. We will never take it from anybody.
They say the controversial leader is in need of urgent medical attention and wants him freed unconditionally. Amadin Uyi, Plus TV Africa.
An anti-corruption group, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, says it has sent a Freedom of Information request to the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Sule Kazaure, on the status of the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. The group said it wants Kazaure to, within 7 days, use his good offices to provide its information and documents on whether or not Mrs. Adeosun applied for NYSC exemption certificate, and if she did, to clarify whether the NYSC actually granted her the exemption certificate, the circumstances and the provisions of the NYSC Act under which the exemption certificate was granted. The request by SIRAP came on the heels of media allegations that Adeosun forged an NYSC exemption certificate to secure her current job and previous one in Nigeria. Following his arraignment last week by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Dr. John Abebe today has been granted bail on $4 million by a Lagos Special Offences Court in Ikeja. Abebe, who is an in-law of former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, is facing a 4-count charge of forgery, fabricating evidence, using fabricated evidence, and attempt to pervert the court of justice, brought against him by the EFCC. Abebe, however, denied the charges during his arraignment on July the 26th and was remanded for a week at the Ikoyi prisons by Justice Mojisola Dada. In her ruling granting bail, Justice Dada noted she is convinced, based on documents before her, that investigations had been concluded in the case, hence the chances of interference in the proceedings from the defendant were low. The case was subsequently adjourned until the 23rd and 24th and 25th of October 2018 for trial. When we return, we'll be bringing you the latest updates on the police forensic investigation of the Grenfell Tower, new piracy policies in India, and more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Israel on Thursday described the Syrian civil war as effectively over and predicted that the Golan Heights frontier between the countries would be quieter with central rule by Damascus restored there. President Bashar al-Assad sweeping away of rebels in southwestern Syria has worried Israel, which recently downed a Syrian warplane that it said breached a Golan buffer zone and warned Iranian forces backing him against deploying there. However, Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman sounded more upbeat on Thursday during a tour of anti-aircraft batteries. From our perspective, the situation is returning to how it was before the civil war, meaning there is a real address, someone responsible, and central rule, he told reporters, referring to a decades-old standoff between Israel and Syria. The Syrian conflict erupted in 2011, and the Russian intervention in 2015 helped to turn the tide in Assad's favor. British police said on Thursday they had completed the forensic examination of Grenfell Tower after a fire that killed 71 at the building last year, adding that it was no longer required as a crime scene by investigators. We have carefully planned for this day and are satisfied that passing over control of the tower will have no bearing on the ongoing criminal investigation or any subsequent criminal proceedings, Commander Stuart Cundy said in a statement. Simply put, we have everything we need from the tower. An independent site management team will be responsible for the site on a day-to-day basis, with the government making operational decisions. Police have said they are considering possible criminal offences, including gross negligent manslaughter, corporate manslaughter, and breaches of the Health and Safety Act as part of their investigation. India's cabinet has approved a bill that will punish piracy at sea with a death penalty or life in prison. Local media reports that the draft law seeks to improve the safety of the nation's navigation after a rise in attacks on vessels along critical sea routes. India has reportedly been working since 2017 on boosting maritime patrols on key sea lanes. Its navy has been increasingly protecting Indian sea traffic and crews in the Indian Ocean. Up next is our business reports with Edidiong Inwang.
Welcome to Business. I'm Edidiong Iwang. Ovum, a data, research and consulting business focused on helping digital service providers across the globe, estimates that mobile broadband connections in Africa will rise to over 1 billion by the end of 2020, as against the 419 million figure it attained at the end of 2017. According to the report, Africa's digital economy will be built on mobile platforms, creating exciting opportunities for far-sighted mobile operators to play a key role in the continent's digital revolution. As in many other developing markets in which mobile is outstripping fixed-line networks, it noted that mobile operators were becoming an important provider of and platform for a growing range of services. The Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nexim, has approved the disbursement of loans totaling about 225 billion naira in support of various projects in the non-oil export sector. According to its managing director, Abba Bello, this follows the review of applications under the Export Development Fund at the meeting of the board of directors of the bank held last Thursday. He explained that the beneficiaries included exporters of agricultural and value-added products who submitted applications for stocking facilities and working capital to enable them execute their export contracts. The number of prepaid meters supplied by the electricity distribution companies DISCOs in Nigeria has increased to 1.59 million in the first quarter of this year, as compared to 1.5 million recorded in the last quarter of 2017. Now, this represents a 6.2% increase quarter-on-quarter basis, and that's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Benin Disco has the highest percentage with 17.79% of the total customers metered, and this is closely followed by Abuja Disco with 16.4% and Ibadan Disco with 15.99% respectively, while Yola Disco recorded the least percentage of the total customers metered with 2.35% and closely followed by Jos and Kano Discos with 3.42% and 3.97% respectively. However, players in the meter industry have said that the rate of distribution by the DISCOs is still too low to bridge the over 4.7 million metering gap that currently exists in the country as of December last year. Now that's it on business. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on the entertainment and sports news. We'll be back in a moment.
And in entertainment, on Wednesday, contestants and guests of TVS Confirm Naija dance competition were drilled by sophisticated performances from the judges. Nigeria's dance queen, Kafayat Shafau, also known as Kafi, musician Michael Ado, also known as Small Doctor, and BB Naija Season 3 finalist Alex Asogwa. The competition was to find the most creative dance steps from people all over Nigeria. 17 contestants were screened. The winner will be awarded a cash prize of 1 million naira, but the winner has not been officially announced. A few days ago, it was alleged that Super UK model Naomi Campbell was pregnant for English grime rapper Joseph Jr. Adenuga, popularly known as Skepta, who posted a picture of a 3D sonogram cryptically announcing he was having a baby. Naomi Campbell has debunked all rumors of carrying Skepta's child by sharing a very sizzling bikini snap of herself on Instagram, showing off her flat belly. According to a source close to the supermodel, Naomi and Skepta had broken up in April, and she isn't impressed by his cryptic announcement linking her back to him with a pregnancy rumor. Prior to this, Naomi had deleted all traces of the rapper from her Instagram page and just wants to move on with her life without being linked to the rapper. Chris Brown's house guest during a party has accused the American singer of imprisoning her while she was raped in his mansion. In response to the allegation, Brown says he was too busy watching an adult movie to bother with a house guest and insists he had no hand in the alleged rape. The unnamed woman says she was assaulted by Chris Brown's friend, Lowell Grissom. She's named on legal documents as Jane Doe and says Chris Brown provided cocaine and other drugs as treats for his house guests. On the other hand, Brown says since he was busy in another room with other guests, that is enough to distance him from the scene of the crime, as such demands that his name be withdrawn from the lawsuit. And that's it on entertainment, the very best in sports, right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. Italian defender Leonardo Bonucci has made a return to Serie A champions Juventus from AC Milan in a swap deal involving striker Gonzalo Higuain. And Bonucci joined AC Milan last summer from Juventus for £35.1 million. And Juve tweeted a short video of the former skipper Bonucci. And AC Milan, on the other hand, posted a video of Higuain and the club's colours with the caption, "Higuain ready to start." And seven-time European champions Milan will reportedly pay an initial £16 million as part of a season-long loan deal, with the option of making the move permanent for an additional £32 million at the end of the season. And the AC Milan fans were filled with excitement for the signing of the Argentine striker. They gathered around Casa Milan to show their joy for the arrival of the former Real Madrid star. And former Arsenal and Manchester City midfielder Samir Nasri has had his doping ban for using a drip treatment at a Los Angeles clinic increased from 6 months to 18 months following an appeal against the original sanction given to the Frenchman by UEFA in February. The ban is backdated to the 1st of July 2017, even though Nasri has made 8 appearances for Turkish side Antalyaspor. Since then, he is now a free agent and he can then return to training with any club in November. In February 2017, a request by Sevilla for a retroactive therapeutic use exemption for Nasri was refused by UEFA, and its decision was later upheld by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And on Wednesday, UEFA's Ethics and Disciplinary Inspector argued that ban was insufficient, and European football's governing body extended it by 12 months. And Nasri's spell with Antalyaspor lasted only 6 months after he joined from Manchester City in August 2017. And in tennis, Johanna Konta beat Sofia Kenin to reach the quarterfinals of the Silicon Valley Classic. And this comes a day after defeating Serena Williams to make it the worst in Williams' career. And British #1 Johanna Konta struck 9 aces in a 6-1, 6-4 victory. And Konta will go on to face 4th seed Elise Mertens of Belgium in the next round. And Mertens reached the last 8 with a 6-2, 6-love victory over American wildcard Ashley Kratzer. And still on tennis, Benoit Paire has been fined $16,500 after smashing 3 rackets during an on-court tantrum. And the French player lost his temper after missing a shot as he trailed Marcos Baghdatis 5-2 in the final set of a 6-3, 3-6, 6-2 first-round loss at the Washington Open on Tuesday. He was sanctioned for an audible obscenity, unsportsmanlike conduct, and a lack of giving the best effort. And the ATP fine is more than double the appearance money he made at the tournament. He was booed off court by spectators and blew kisses to the crowd as he headed to the dressing room. And that's all on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I'm Lakwe Banjo. Have yourself a great day.